just the biggest star that I ever dreamed I could ever be. And all of that was happening at the same moment. It was very hard.
Intimate portrait, Cheryl Ladd. Next on Intimate Portrait, hosted by Meredith Vieira.
I'm Meredith Vieira, and this is an intimate portrait of Cheryl Ladd. Charlie's Angels was supposed to be a guy show. 3 beautiful women go around saving the day or the world. So why did women like it? Well, maybe because we know women who do that in real life. After the show went off the air, Cheryl Ladd says she felt typecast, but she isn't holding a grudge. As Cheryl puts it, I didn't get to be Julia Roberts, but I have a great husband and 2 wonderful children. I'd feel guilty even thinking I should complain. Now that's how an angel talks. Actor and friend Michael York tells her story.
Her portrayal of an angel won the hearts of young men and left a lasting imprint on a generation of women. She is Cheryl Ladd, actress, activist, wife, and mother.
Cheryl was sort of this natural beauty, this natural sex appeal. I've always felt sort of a connection to her, you know, because she was Chris. And so I felt like I was going to be Chris when I grew up. I was going to grow up to be as glamorous and as beautiful as she was.
Now she talks about her childhood dreams.
Very quickly, everybody knew that my obsession was to go and be somebody someday in show business.
Her life as a singer, from local nightclubs to animated rock star, and finally to the top of the charts.
Music has always done that for me. It's always made me feel filled up.
The painful lessons of becoming a star.
I was trying to be everything for everybody all the time. And it made me sick. It really did.
Her enduring marriage to writer Brian Russell.
He kissed me and we've been together ever since. That's all I can tell you. It was some kiss.
And the role that elevated her from struggling actress to heavenly angel. A role that she almost turned down.
And Farrell was such a phenomenon. I thought, man, whoever does that show, what if people won't like her? It's like everything you've done is just destroyed.
I'm Michael York. Next, an intimate portrait of my friend Cheryl Ladd. She won the hearts of America as Chris Monroe, the beautiful blonde girl next door who replaced Farrah Fawcett Majors on the 1970s hit show Charlie's Angels. The combination of girls, guns, and fashion that made the one-hour cop show a pop cultural obsession made Cheryl Ladd an overnight success.
The day before Charlie's Angels first aired, nobody cared about what I ate, what I drank, what I wore, what I washed my hair with, where I was from, what I thought about anything. And the day after, all of that was interesting to everyone. And I hadn't done anything except gotten on a TV show. I hadn't changed an iota.
Contrary to her wholesome upbringing in a small Midwestern town, Cheryl had visions of Hollywood glitz and glamour and of one day becoming a star.
She always said she wanted to be a movie star. When I grow up, I'm going to be a movie star. And I'm saying, oh, of course you are, honey. I had no idea. But anyway, how that she really was, and it was wonderful. But as I said, as I always say, when you live in South Dakota, it's a small town and you never think big.
Since childhood, Cheryl never let those small-town odds stand in her way. Cheryl Jean Stoppelmoor was born on July 12, 1951, in Huron, South Dakota, to her mother Dolores and her father Marion Stoppy Stoppelmoor. Cheryl grew up in a modest household with her older sister Marianne and her 2 much younger brothers, Brian and Seth.
We were really just getting by, and I wouldn't say we were poor, but we were pretty lower middle class as far as there were very few luxuries.
In spite of their humble means, Cheryl's mother provided her family with a creative outlet and fostered Cheryl's desire to perform.
We played a lot of games. We did a lot of dancing, the three of us, Marianne, Cheryl, and I, in an old crank-up phonograph, and we used to go put on a record and go down. We are in basements in South Dakota, you know. We were down on this concrete floor where we couldn't hurt a thing, and we just had to dance our little hearts out.
It was my mother and Cheryl and me, and we were all three really very close. But we were always doing creative things and playing dress-ups and playing and, you know, going to movies and playing those characters and just having a lot of fun in that respect.
While Cheryl's mother stayed at home with her children, her father spent much of his time working as a train engineer for the Chicago Northwestern Railway. After days of desperately missing Dad, Cheryl was dizzy with anticipation the day his train thundered back into town.
The afternoon my dad was coming home was like, it was just around our heads. It was electric at our house. I mean, we were spit shined and polished and teeth brushed, combed and hair curled and best dressed on and bubble bathed into oblivion, and we were all just so excited because Daddy was coming. And then we would go down to the depot to wait for his train to come in. And we hear, way down the track, we hear the whistle. And it was coming. It's like, again, here comes Dad. And then this handsome blonde man would drive up in a huge locomotive, driving this train, waving out the window, smiling at us. And he'd leap down and embrace us all. And it was like, oh, how could you not have a crush on your dad?
Cheryl shared a special bond with her father, their love of music. As a young girl, she knew that his return home from the railroad meant that their house would once again be filled with his melodies. For years, she watched with great admiration as her father played the guitar and sang with his friend. One day, she got a chance to join him and sing.
He said, Sherry, do you want to sing? I went, yeah. He said, okay, you can come and sing a song. Come on in, sing a song. And he said, do you know a song? And I said, yeah, I know Cotton Fields. I remember this like it was yesterday. And he said, you do? And he said, well, start singing it. And so I started singing the song, and they figured out what key it was in. He goes, okay, when I point to you, you start. We're going to play a little introduction. And so unfortunately, then they couldn't get rid of me. But that sort of started my love of music and my feeling toward the warmth that it brought me, the familial feelings. And music has always done that for me. It's always made me feel filled up.
At that moment, Cheryl knew that she wanted to be a performer. However, her desire was beyond the scope of her friends' imaginations, and it set Cheryl apart from her peers.
I realize now, looking back, that I was kind of weird for somebody in Huron, South Dakota, because all I wanted to do was play dress-ups and put on plays and perform, and it was essential. It was like food for me. It was like drinking water, and it was joyous to me all the time. And when somebody didn't want to do that, I thought, what is wrong with this person? Don't they know how much fun this is? Don't they know how wonderful this is? So I think that there were a lot of, certainly kids that I knew who thought I was pretty strange.
As Cheryl grew into her teenage years, it became evident to her family and friends that her dreams of being a performer were much bigger than South Dakota. Her strong desire to perform kept Cheryl busy, acting in high school plays, competing in beauty pageants, and cheerleading. She seized every opportunity to showcase her talents.
It was kind of, that's the way it was. Whatever opportunity arrived, that's the one there were so few that you had to take them all, you know? And I was doing commercials for free for the radio station because that was an opportunity, and learned how to do that. And the fellow that was at the radio station said, there's a band in town that lost their singer. And you sing, don't you? And I said, yeah, I'm a singer.
The band was a local jazz trio called The Music Shop. Within a few days, she was auditioning to be the lead singer.
I didn't tell my parents. And when I went to the audition, I tried to look as old as I possibly could. I was 16. It was my summer before my senior year of high school. And he asked me how old I was, and I said, I'm 19. He goes, I don't think so. And I go, 18? He goes, I don't think so. I said, okay, I'm 16, but I'm about to be 17, and he's going, oh, geez. But what happened was they were so desperate, they had a job set up for that weekend, and they didn't have a singer. Their singer had become ill, and he said, do you think you could learn 30 songs in a week? And I said, yeah, no problem. I mean, I'm telling you, a burglar I was, an absolute burglar. Nerves of steel.
Despite all the odds, Cheryl got the job, and at the young age of 16 began her career as a singer. With high school graduation around the corner, Cheryl realized that she would never find stardom in South Dakota. The music shop was her ticket out of town. It would not be long before Cheryl Stoppelmore would transform herself and leave her home and her name behind to pursue her dreams. Cheryl Ladd, An Intimate Portrait, will continue in a moment.
Lifetime television for women.
Wasn't so perfect.
Never stop.
A dangerous affair. Tonight at 8 on Lifetime. Television for women.
I'm Michael York. We now return to Cheryl Ladd, An Intimate Portrait. In 1968, when Cheryl Ladd was just 17 years old, she graduated from high school, left her hometown in South Dakota, and began touring under the name Sherry Moore with Al Douglas's trio, The Music Shop.
They had bookings all throughout the North and Midwest, and we played nightclubs. And I had to talk my parents into letting me go travel with the band. It was quite a conversation. My mother bawled for 3 days, and my dad said, honey, she's been trying to tell us she wants to do this since she was 3 years old. If we don't let her do this, she'll resent us forever.
And her father said, honey, you know how many opportunities for showbiz there are in Huron, South Dakota? And I thought about that. He said, Cheryl, if she doesn't know right from wrong when she's 18, she's not going to know when she's 38 either. He said, we got to let her go. So we did.
I think that was really tough to think she would be old enough to do that and mature enough and to be put into that atmosphere. But she handled it great, and I was really proud of her. And I'd go see her sometimes and singing and think, you know, I just can't believe this. She just knew how to handle herself.
As a singer, Cheryl stood out from the crowd. Her wholesome beauty and youthful spirit helped her to connect with the audience. One evening, the band's booking agent came to see them perform. It was the first time he had seen Cheryl sing. He immediately knew Cheryl was going to be a star.
And he sat me down after the performance, and he said, kid, you got it. I said, I'm sorry? He said, I'm telling you right now, you got it. So if you come to California, we're there, and we'll help you out. And if you want to stay there, we'll help you. You got it. He said, I've seen them all, and you got it.
Eventually, Cheryl and the band made it out to the West Coast. However, within a few months of their arrival, the lack of work caused them to break up. With no job, no money, and no band, Cheryl took her agent's offer to live with him and his family. She stayed in California to pursue a career as a singer and an actress. The family welcomed her with open arms. Unfortunately, Hollywood's welcome was not so friendly, and doors were shut in her face.